Looking back, and so you've run some great projects, you have a lot of great experiences. If you were talking to yourself at like at 23, 25 years old, like when you were first starting your career out, what advice would you give yourself?
Oh, probably the first piece of advice I would give my younger self is build my network.
Hmm.
Build my
Oh my
network
gosh, how important is that?
early on. Yeah, now that I'm older and have had a few senior level roles, it's a no-brainer, right? But, think about back then coming out of school, we didn't have smartphones, we didn't have LinkedIn, um, we didn't have Facebook. So we had a Rolodex, right? And that's a lot of work. Keeping up with all these business cards. And we had physical business cards, right? That we were keeping up with, and I had cards. And then when I moved from one job to the next job, I was like, yeah, am I going to really need all these cards and blah, blah, blah. Um, yeah, so I fell short there. And I wish that I had that network. And I wish that I had maintained that network starting back from when I first got out of college all the way through. So that would be one piece of advice that I'd give myself. Um, the second piece of advice um, would probably be to lean in more earlier in my career.
Hmm.
Um, like I lean in now, but if I had leaned in back then a little bit more, I don't mean I, I am not talking about being arrogant. I am not talking about bullying. I am not talking about stepping on people to get ahead of them. I'm not talking about any of that. I just mean leaning in, right? Being more purposeful on my roles, taking specific things away from my roles to prepare me for the next role. I didn't start doing that until several years into my career. I landed underneath an amazing leader named Michelle Romano. Again, she's retired now, but thank goodness our paths crossed. Michelle was um, phenomenal at teaching what we used to call soft skills. Now everybody is doing it, right? Finally. But back then, not everybody had soft skills. Not everybody had situational leadership, situational communication, read the room, looked at how their employees felt, right? Michelle was doing that and she was teaching that. Um, so anyway, Michelle kind of brought me out of my shell, taught me to be more purposeful in my roles, and to understand that a job does your career doesn't go like this. Your career is going to go like whatever.
Right?
So anyway, I wish that I had done that a little bit earlier. That's what I'm talking about when I say, kind of lean in, um, being more confident in myself and my abilities, and knowing where to grow them, and how to leverage them. That how to leverage them, I think, is one of the most important things too. Right? I have a technology background. For the beginning part of my career, I was behind a computer coding. And then I became a network engineer. And then so I was out installing networks and doing that kind of thing. And then I crossed over to the business. Um, that's when I really started thinking about that purpose and learning those extra skills and that type of thing.